calls it anyway.
Like a mist through the trees, across the battlefield, she is born upon the breeze. She's drawn to where I kneel.
Now, he's all the lead vocals, right? The lead singer, that's him.
On
every time.
Asia, yeah, for the most part. Jeffrey Downs is a great singer in his own right.
Backup
and,
singer.
Yeah, does a lot of the harmonies, but the hits are John Wetton.
It's funny. When Asia first came out, I was not a big fan because it was the 80s. It was the corporate rock era. They were labeled a supergroup. And I thought, it was not hard enough for me. The music grew on me.
Yeah.
And I recall after 1982, they disappeared for 23 years.
Yeah. I told everybody that would listen, and most people who were sick of it, that this was going to be the biggest band on the face of the earth.
You said that.
Forever.
You liked it.
I felt so in love with Asia in the summer of '82.
How come?
I loved the music. I loved that whole album. I
And
wore that
I
album
think some of it
out.
was an age thing because I was a child of the early 70s.
Yeah.
And that was my musical coming of age. And in the early 80s, the music got thicker. It got more produced. It had more reverb. It had a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't like. I ended up liking it all the stuff that was good. But what a super group. And I like him. He's, you know what he is? He enjoys working. He enjoys playing concerts in front of his fans every night.
Yeah.
Which is why he's still out there relevant today. And will be as long as he wants to do it.
Yeah, and there's so many bands he can reunite with. King Crimson, if they have a reunion. UK was a great band, him and Eddie Jobson, and they did just recently reunite for a few shows.
He had a song, big song in my era, called "The Court of the Crimson King," and was the band was called King Crimson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that band? Do you know that song at all?
Yeah, King Crimson was on the mixtape that my sister had in her room that I used
There
to
you go.
steal. Yeah.
It was just monstrous.
Although I might be wrong, Joe probably better, but Greg Lake sang the first. King Crimson was another supergroup.
That wasn't him singing?
That was Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh.
But he had to blow out to do Emerson, Lake and Palmer, so they got John to come in and play bass and sing King Crimson records.
Eventually they'll do a Yes Buggle Asia Palmer tour.
Well,
The YBAP.
all letters, 4 letters.
And they'll do all those hits.
That's what I mean. When grunge was the flavor of the world from Seattle, Soundgarden played all the time with Alice in Chains, who played all the time with Pearl Jam. They made Temple of the Dog. All these guys all worked together in all these different projects. That's what these guys were like. The guys from Wishbone Ash were in, Uriah Heep were in, King Crimson were in, Yes were in, Asia were in. I mean, these guys all borrowed and stole and worked together all the time.
Have you ever heard the theory that, and I wanted to ask him, we didn't have him for very long, I wanted to ask him about growing up in, I guess it was suburb, I don't know if it was suburbs of London or not. The area was called Bourneshire or something. And
You can bet it's near the moors.
near the moor. Well, what I was wondering, and what has been said to me is part of why Seattle has a plethora and a style of music is that our rainy weather locks people in their basements to practice, and that why so much good music came from the British invasion is that their rainy, foggy weather, similar to us, causes musicians to lock themselves into rooms and practice. And it's like here, it's a very well-connected music community. I mean, they all knew each other. The Rolling Stones knew the Beatles, knew Eric Clapton, knew all of these guys.
New Page, yeah.
And here, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, they all sort of, fermented under the same mushroom. And I was going to ask him if he grew up if it was raining all the time.
Fog creates good bands. I mean, look at Seattle, London,
San Francisco.
I mean, foggy towns.
I think that's where you have the best shot at music.
Yeah.
It's a rainy place.
That's because it's indoors. You're not out at the beach all day long.
Right.
Down in
We create terrible volleyball teams.
Yeah, not
We
the
haven't
best.
won a title in forever. Yeah.
You're looking pretty good over there today.
It's unbelievable today. I mean, and so early. We were talking about that earlier in the morning. It's like 5:30 and it's totally light out. It's like, it's a beautiful time.
I'm just depressed at how much it's been raining, though. I have to admit, and I have a garden pest that I'm not even sure I can identify that has got me ready to put my Elmer Fudd hat on. Now I thought it was a rabbit because I planted like 20 broccoli sprouts. And, we grow some from seed, Brussels sprouts and broccoli, which means you start them in the middle of the winter and you nurture these things, and they start as these little delicate sprouts.
Much like a garage band.
But then I went out and I plant 20 of them. And it's like, oh, that's going to be broccoli all summer. 2 days later, every one of them is gone. Disappeared overnight.
Some fat little rodent left you a thank you
It's
note.
it's a bunny rabbit.
Yeah?
And so I get on Amazon and I have like 5 have a heart traps delivered to my house. Ka-ching. So I'm spending now like, what am I spending? $150 on broccoli.
Yeah,
if you look at it as in terms of the broccoli, I'm spending $150. How much broccoli can you get for $150? Quite a bit.
It's $20 on broccoli and it's $130 on Pride.
On Pride, yeah, that's another. You know what? That's a better way to look at it. So I get these traps, and I say to Lisa, I read online that the best way to bait, and of course I want to take the rabbit and re-release it in a park somewhere where kids will see it, and
Yeah.
it'll be Happy Bunny.
Maybe an on-ramp in Redmond.
Very Jody of me, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Okay, so I read online how to bait the trap. And the best advice seemed to be this.
Sexy girl bunny?
No.
I worked for Bugs.
Get some apple cider. Put it in a spray bottle. Pour a little apple cider in a bowl next to some carrots and some freshly cut apples. Put apple cider in the bottle and then spray the cage with apple cider so the whole thing smells of pungent apples.
Apple cider or apple cider vinegar? Apple cider.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm trying to draw it in.
Lisa said, I got some of that. And she put apple cider vinegar in a bottle.
Right.
Wrong.
Wrong.
What's vinegar? Something that went bad that you don't want, unless you're an alcoholic. So it's fermented. So so the first time I baited the traps, the rabbit just kept eating all our vegetables. And I went, was that apple cider? And she said, well, it was close. It was apple cider vinegar. I said, no.
Yeah.
No.
So we went to the store and we got apple cider last weekend. I rebaited the traps, this time apple cider. Next day, bunny success. Cute little bunny in the trap. He freaked out a little when I lifted up the trap. He was like, how did I get in here? And I said, don't worry, bunny. We're taking you to Rattlesnake Lake where the children come and watch you play in the field, and hopefully the eagles and the hawks don't see you.
You can make
that
some
clearly.
nice friends.
But after that, it's
Coyotes.
my
But, that's a
eagles.
circle of life. I don't have anything to do with that. And so she releases the bunny, and I think we're good to go now. And Lisa says, I think